Good morning. Today's video is about life. It's about how can we be happy and chirpy when life is constantly throwing all these things our way. I'm making this video today because very often I get people saying to me, to be honest, your life is not all roses, and it's not, you do have pretty challenging life, and yet you still manage to smile and be happy and seem to be able to cope with what is being thrown at you. Why is that? Why? I've given it a lot of thought, and I don't want to say think positive, because when you think positive, good things come your way. That's bull beep. It doesn't work that way. Yeah, positivity brings positive things around you. When you're positive, you'll attract positive people, but not that. That's not a rule. That isn't really how it works. It's a choice. It's a choice. I choose to see the lessons I can learn in the things that come my way. I choose to see what I can learn from it, what I could have done different, how I can better and maybe fix certain things. It's not easy, especially when it's a daily thing or almost daily. So you wake up in the morning and you say, right, today, I've got this. I'm gonna be happy today. I'm gonna be positive today. I've got this today. And then, before you even manage to get out the front door, you've received some email or message or about something. You're like, really, why? It isn't easy. It's not easy. You're not alone. You are not alone. The things that I do, this is the best way I can explain why it works for me and how it works for me, is by telling you what I do. Maybe that will help, and I hope it will. I don't watch the news in the morning, like I've told you before, because I do not want to start my day feeling sad. I know what's going on around the world, don't get me wrong. I know, I'm very, very aware of what is going on around me and in the world. But I choose not to watch the news or listen to the news in the car on my way dropping off my son at school, or on my way to work, or wherever it is I need to go. I choose not to. I choose to listen to a radio station with two people that I enjoy listening to, that they make me smile, they make me laugh. I choose to do that. I choose to listen to the music and sing, and I'm not procrastinating. I'm not putting things away and on the side and covering them up. The problems are genuine and they're still there, but I choose to deal with things one thing at a time. I choose to be happy because my logic is that, okay, this situation is as it is. It is what it is. So I've got two choices. I can either be completely upset and depressed and deal with that situation, or I can be on a perky high and deal with that situation. And I choose the latter. I choose to be on the perky high dealing with that situation. It doesn't make the situation easier per se, but it makes dealing with it easier. I don't know if I'm making any sense to anyone. I hope I am. But that's the way I look at life. There's a lot of things out there that sadden me really, but I choose to deal with them in that way, in my way. My favorite saying, my favorite quote. A lot of people, I get this every day from everyone. You live in your own world. Yeah, I do. I live in my own little world, and do you know what? I like it there. I'm happy there. They know me there. I'm comfortable there. I am here. I am on this planet with everybody else. I am in reality with everybody else. I do have struggles like everybody else, but it's the way I choose to deal with them that differs, and that makes me who I am, and that makes me able to make these videos and spread this positive vibe and energy. It's the way I choose to deal with them. So my problems are not worse than others. My problems are not better than others. My problems are my problems, and I have them, believe me. Daily difficulties. But it's the way I choose to deal with them, and that is different. So, like I said, you can either let it get you down and be depressed and deal with it, or you can say, right, you know, it is what it is. I'm going to have to deal with it anyway, but I choose to be on this, in this frame of mind and deal with it like that, as opposed to being in this frame of mind and trying to deal with it, because that will just make it a whole lot worse. It is also a little bit about what we spoke about when we program ourselves to focus and think on the negative, and then the negative thinking patterns. We did a video about that before. You're going to say to me now, and that's right, that yeah, you know, negative thinking patterns, but when negative things and bad things are coming my way constantly, and I'm trying to be on a high, and I don't wake up in the morning deliberately wanting to be upset today or cross about something, but it's there. What can I do? Yeah, what can you do? But the fact is that you're going to have to deal with it anyway. So choose how you're going to deal with it, with this mentality and frame of mind, or with this mentality and frame of mind. When you try to look at it with my way of looking at things, I'm not really sure how to phrase that, because I'm not going to say a positive, because there are so many things that you cannot look at in a positive light. So it's not really thinking positive. It's just choosing not to. Okay, this is how sometimes I explain it to my students. So our problems are there. Okay, they're there, whether we like it or not, whether we want them to be or not. They're there. But it's up to me if I'm going to let them be in my heart and in my mind and poisoning me, or if I'm going to leave them here and deal with them while they're here. Is that making any sense now? Am I making it a bit clearer? I hope. So I choose that when I'm dealing with a problem that's come along, I choose to leave it there and deal with it while it's here, and not let it poison me and then make it more difficult and more challenging to deal with. Is that? I really, really hope that I've managed to get this message across. I'm really trying. This is actually a difficult video. It's a tough one, because it's real. It's real to me, and it's real to a lot of people out there. So it is a tough one, and I don't want to patronize anybody, and I don't want to make anybody feel bad. Or so what do? Like I said, I try to keep the problem there and not let it be in my soul and in my mind, so I can think clearer about it and have a clearer image. I breathe. I always breathe. I breathe in the morning when I wake up, the deep breathing that I showed you in another video. So I breathe in the morning. I breathe when I get into the car to go and to work or drop my child off at school. I breathe when I get in the car again to go somewhere else. I'm constantly breathing. So I'm constantly settling my thoughts and emotions. So I'm distracting. I'm taking away the emotion from the problem, and then I'm looking at it on a clearer, different kind of way. Okay, I try not to. I don't like it when people, if I've posted something and people press that little, I've spoken about this as well before, that little emoji with the really angry face. I don't like it when people press that emoji. I really need to send an email to Facebook and ask them to change that emoji and not be so cross and angry, you know, just more of like a blah emoji as opposed to a such a cross emoji, because that emoji, words are very powerful, because words can, they come with emotions. So I always say, do not use the word stressed. Don't use that word, because the word on its own comes with a lot of emotion. So when you say the word I'm stressed, just by saying it now, as an example for you guys on the video, I have a knot in my stomach. I have a feeling here of like pressing down, like I can't breathe properly, just by saying the word. So the word on its own comes with its own emotions. So I try to use other words, which sometimes might even make me laugh. So I like to say I'm today, or I feel Tulu today, or I use other words instead of the word stressed. That's another thing I do that helps me cope. If I do read something or have heard something that has upset me, I don't just repost about it and reshare it on social media and then start reading all the comments from my friends and, oh my goodness, what have they done? And they're doing this to us again, and what, because that will just trigger and feed the negativity. What I try to do is I try to, if I can and if I have the time, I'll try to sit back and say, right, what can I do about this? What can I do by reposting it and resharing it and just spreading this fear and hatred? And what am I getting out of it? Everybody knows what's going on pretty much. But how am I helping by spreading this hatred, this insecurity, this not being happy? What will I get out of that? So instead, I try to find something that will counter that and say, okay, so I've just read this article about this and that's made me really sad, but then there's also this article that somebody's trying to help that situation, or what can I do personally to help that situation, to change that situation? And I don't want to hear yeah, but you know, no one's going to listen to you. Don't say that. Yeah, one person can make a difference. I mean, look at that little girl, Greta Thunberg. She was one girl on her own. Some of you may think, yeah, she's got all these people now backing her and da. Oh, she was one girl on her own protesting about climate change. And look at her today. Look at her today. She had a voice and she used it. She didn't just sit there complaining about it and letting it consume her with hatred and sadness. She went out and tried to do something about it. Whether you agree with how she's going about it or not is a different story. The fact is, though, that she didn't just post on social media all her sadness and her hatred and she didn't do that. She did something about it. And yeah, she is doing something about it. And yeah, we are supporting her because she's trying to do something for us all. So what I'm trying to say is do that. So when you are faced with difficulties, try and remove the emotion from it. Try to imagine a bottle of glitter, a snow globe, and you shake the snow globe. I wish I had my props with me now. I've got one and I use it in my classroom. So you shake up the snow globe and the snow is everywhere, or the glitter is everywhere, and then you just watch the glitter or the snow settle. Emotions are pretty much in the same way. So when your brain is clouded with emotions, it's not easy to see a clearer picture. So when you just allow your emotions to settle and try to go back to the basics, then things do and are clearer. You might not always find a solution to the problem, but things are clearer. And sometimes you just have to accept that it is what it is. And what can I do? Some things are. It is what it is, But what can I do to change this? What can I do? Be the change you want to see in this world. Okay, so this has been a longer video than I intended, but I really do hope that somehow, some way, I've managed to help you. Remember to breathe. remember the basics. Remember the basics of perception, of detaching the emotion. Remember the basic stuff. Let's go back to the basics and let's see if, with all our difficulties, if we can handle them in a different way and look at them in a different way. Until next time, as always, and kisses.